Okay, and we're on the video live stream for Thursday, the 5th of March. March already.
How did we get to the 5th of March?
I tell you what. Good morning. Tim Dunaj is here.
Good morning, Ken Lundberg. How are you today?
I'm doing very well. Thank you. It's good to see you. It's been like a year.
Has it been? No. Well, we did a wrap
No,
up. It's maybe 8 months.
Okay.
So-
All right. 8 months. Tim Dunaj is here. We're going to talk about FIRST Robotics and tell us, for those who are the uninitiated, what's FIRST Robotics?
FIRST is an acronym that stands for Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology. It's a K through 12 nonprofit organization that very much focuses on introducing students to the world of STEM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. You got to get the STEAM piece in
STEAM.
there. Get that in there. And the vehicle to do that is through competitions. The students at different age levels are given a challenge.
Yeah.
They work on how to solve that challenge. There's the fun of a game, but while they're having this fun of competing in a game, they're working with engineers, technicians, business professionals to develop a skill set that they'll carry with them to the rest of their lives. And there's 3 or 4 different age groups, and every one of those has a task that that is the thing that they accomplish. And as they're involved a little bit longer, the tasks grow from being tabletop size to gymnasium size.
Yeah. I mean, because they take over the basketball courts in whatever schools they're in.
Correct.
And they transform the whole area into this big robot arena. And it with plexiglass and markers and robot things. And I mean, it's amazing to watch.
Yes.
It's so cool.
Yeah, it's amazing to watch the setup of it. And the setup, generally, it's like we've got an event coming up here in Berrien Springs, and setup will start Tuesday night, and it'll progress till Friday. Teams will check in and competition on Saturday.
Yeah.
And it's all that length of time for setup. And then after the event, 2 hours later, it's gone. So it's just like it takes all this time, and then boom, everything just disappears.
Is that part of the challenge? Do they use the robots to set up and take down? If they don't, they should.
The robots are humanoids, and they're powered by caffeine, Pepsi, and
pizza.
Coffee. Oh yeah,
and lots of pizza and lots. How long have you been involved in robotics?
Since 2011. This will be my 16th competition season that I've been involved.
Wow. How has it evolved over that period?
It's gotten bigger, better. We had this period where everything was continuing to grow, and then COVID, like everything else, kind of dipped things. And I've seen the numbers creep back up to where they were prior to 2020. But it's this constant growth, and I think probably for me personally, personal growth, just being a part of a program and being around young students. And the crazy thing, Ken, is, I mean, there's students who the first time that I was there are now 16 years old. They're 31, 32 years old. That's the scary, even older than that.
Now they're the volunteers. Now they're the coaches and the mentors.
Definitely. I mean, you guys, I know have done some work, and you've talked with Morgan Brunstein.
Yeah,
Morgan Brunstein,
she's great.
She's an alum of the Average Joe's program. There's a lot of, in this area, there's a lot of those, and throughout the world. So I mean, how has it changed? It's just gotten bigger, better, and it's reached out to more people.
I want to ask you, we can get into the details during the interview this hour, but one of the questions I'll ask you is, what if any influence is AI playing nowadays in the robots?
Quick answer is AI is a tool, and it becomes another engineering tool. And just like any tool, there's a good use for it and a use where it's like, maybe you're pushing the boundaries of what's ethical. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. Okay. We'll be talking with Tim Dunaj. It's going to be our interview this hour. We're going to, we'll call it part of our robotics roundup, actually, because I think we're going to round up the whole thing about robotics. And since it is a robotics roundup piece, this is brought to you in part by Corewell Health of Southwest Michigan, W.R. Grace, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. They are supporting our ability to put a focus on a regular weekly basis during the season on FIRST Robotics and highlight all the good work that the kids are doing and what they're learning through their STEAM activities. So that's coming up this hour right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We've got news coming up next. This is the WSJM Morning Show.
FastCash.com can help any credit type get approved for up to $5,000 in minutes.
Take control and get the money you need at 47fastcash.com. 47fastcash.com.
WSJM News now. Team coverage from the WSJM newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
It is the WSJM Morning Show. The time is 7:05, 42 degrees in Benton Harbor, 40 in St. Joseph, 42 in Dowagiac. It's 42 degrees in Buchanan right now. There is a dense fog advisory, so do be aware that you might run into some patches of poor visibility due to the fog. After that clears out, we'll still have cloudy skies today. 80% chance of rain and thunderstorms. A high today around 52 degrees. We'll probably get up to around 47 degrees in St. Joseph, maybe 50 in Benton Harbor. But hang tight for tomorrow's forecast because I like the temperatures there. The rest of today, some wind out of the east. It'll be light. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy, a 20% chance of showers, a low around 43 degrees, and then northeast winds, again, very light. Friday's forecast, mostly cloudy and a 50% chance of rain showers. Maybe some storms as well. But if you're not caught by a rain shower or a storm, you'll enjoy the temperatures because we're going to get up to 67 degrees. That's not bad. We'll take it.
Oh, definitely.
You like the warm temperatures?
Yes, I
Tim
do.
Dunaj gravitates to warm temperatures every year.
Very much so. Very much
He's
so.
like a bird. He flies south. Yeah. Did you get a tan? Are you trying to show your tan? You're
No,
so bad.
I don't want to show tan.
Okay. All right. Fine.
Nobody needs to
no,
see
nobody.
that. No one needs to visualize that.
Thank you. All right. So Friday's forecast, rounding that out, we will have some wind to contend with tomorrow. South winds gusting to 30 miles per hour, otherwise blowing 10 to 15. Saturday's forecast, mostly cloudy, a 70% chance of showers and storms on Saturday. The high around 64, the low around 55. Sunday's forecast, partly cloudy, a high of 58. Monday, mostly sunny on Monday. If you're thinking about taking Monday off, that's going to be a nice one. High around 67 degrees. Tuesday's forecast, partly sunny, a 40% chance of showers, a high of 65. And then Wednesday, mostly cloudy, a chance of rain, and high around 52 degrees. All right, we'll start our conversation with Tim Dunaj. We'll talk about robotics, FIRST Robotics, as a matter of fact, here on WSJM. Again, Robotics Roundup is heard weekly on WSJM, and it's brought to you by Corewell Health of Southwest Michigan, W.R. Grace, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. So we'll start that interview in just a couple of moments. First off, some news from the WSJM newsroom. A 58-year-old man from Plainwell is in jail following a police chase and drug arrest. It happened in Van Buren County this week. Sheriff Dan Abbott says a deputy attempted a traffic stop on Red Arrow Highway near County Road 652 in Antwerp Township for a motor vehicle violation. That's when the driver took off. The police say he reached speeds of about 80 miles per hour before turning into a subdivision and eventually stopping. Deputies say a search of the vehicle uncovered a large amount of methamphetamine along with packaging materials and scales, and the suspect was jailed on charges including fleeing and eluding, possession with intent to deliver, driving with a suspended license, and no insurance. Other news, a West Michigan woman says 2 of her family members remain stranded in Dubai as tensions are rising in the Middle East following that U.S. and Israeli airstrike campaign on Iran. Susanna Lankeet of Saugatuck says her relatives who were on vacation after attending the Olympics in Italy have had 8 flights scheduled and then canceled on their attempt to return to the United States. She says they've been sheltering in their hotel parking garage as airline seats are being prioritized for citizens of other countries. Lankeet and her family have contacted the U.S. Department of State and their congressional representatives to try to get out. So far, they've not yet been able to secure evacuation. Michigan does not currently have an official state insect. Did you know that? Did you know we don't have an official state insect?
I would have sworn it was the mosquito.
A lot of people do. A lot of people think that, but it's not. Legislation expected to be introduced soon, maybe this week, by State Representative Brad Paquette, and that could change. Paquette says the idea came from a 3rd grade student in the River Valley School District who contacted his office.
This is an initiative that I want to make sure that young people know they can be involved in legislation and that they can have hope that, we're hearing them. So we have a bill on introducing the Huron River leafhopper to be the state bug, the state insect.
The Huron River leafhopper is what he said. It's a colorful insect. We have a picture posted on our website at WSJM.com. It's found only in Oakland and Mackinac County, so don't look for it in Berrien.
It's an endangered species. It's native to Michigan, and they brought it to my attention, and I wanted to work on something with some kids who have some energy for, civics and civic engagement.
Because the Huron River leafhopper is endemic to Michigan, it can only be found in the state and is considered critically imperiled. Paquette said he briefly considered nominating the mosquito.
There we go.
Yeah, he did. He thought about it, nominating the mosquito as the state bug, but it decided against it, giving residents. He didn't want to give residents another reminder of mosquitoes. That was kind of him. He plans to introduce the legislation for the Huron River leafhopper later this week. Yeah, you ever seen a Huron River leafhopper?
No, I have not. But what I'm curious about is, you're not native to Michigan, are you?
No.
So do you realize where Oakland County and Mackinac County are?
Well, they're like opposite ends.
Yeah, Mackinac Island area.
Yeah.
Northern.
Yeah.
And Oakland is Detroit metropolitan area.
Yeah.
So
isn't that weird?
I grew up in Macomb County, which is next to Oakland. I would have expected you to say,
two counties next to each other.
So who was the person who grabbed one, put it in a jar, and took it someplace else?
Oh, you think that's what happened? Maybe it was a bird.
There we go.
Maybe a bird did it.
Let's go
ate some larvae and then, did its business.
We should create the documentary.
Yeah, I think travels. I'll be the Ken Burns character. You can do the filmmaking. All right, one more story. The city of South Haven is creating a new mechanism to help owners of short-term rentals register and operate their properties. Short-term rentals have been a hot topic in South Haven. They've got a licensing regimen that they're setting up right now. But speaking to the city council this week, South Haven City Manager Kate Hosier said the May 1 deadline that the city set for itself for registration under the new rules is approaching, but apparently the city is not yet ready to take all the short-term rental licensing procedures they need to have. She said staff has only processed about 20% of the short-term registries that need to be reviewed, so the city is proposing some conditional licenses for a short period of time. City Attorney David Eberly explained.
The proposed solution would allow a short-term rental to be issued a conditional license if, as of March 17, 2025, they were a registered STR within the city. They submit a complete licensing application and zoning compliance determination and licensing fee. That would allow staff to essentially administratively issue a conditional license.
Eberly said a conditional license could be terminated if a property falls out of compliance with local rules or fails an inspection. The licenses could remain valid for as long as 2 years while the city works through their new registration system. The council this week voted to introduce an ordinance amendment to allow that change. That's a look at some of the local news that we're following in the WSJM newsroom. We have more to talk about, a whole lot more. And in fact, this hour, we're going to be visiting with Tim Dunaj, who's here in the studios. Welcome back, Tim. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you, sir.
What's happening? What do you know? What's going on? Tell people, for those who might not know, tell people who Tim Dunaj is.
Tim Dunaj is a happily retired automation engineer who worked for Kendall Electric for 33 years.
Yeah.
And I've been retired, this is going on 3.5 years now.
How's retirement?
Retirement is great.
Yeah.
Retirement is great. The great thing about electronic calendars is if you don't get to something, you just go in, edit, change the date, and you're good.
You keep yourself very busy.
Yes. Yeah. Try to do that very much so.
Including with robotics. And that's what we're going to talk about this hour. Yep. FIRST Robotics. And as you mentioned on the video live stream, you've been involved with robotics for how long now?
This is the 16th competition season since 2011.
Wow.
So the first 3 years I was involved, 2011 through 2013, I was a judge. Yeah. And then 2014 is when I started in the judge advisor role. And that's pretty much what I do now at events. I'm also involved with helping to plan and coordinate events that happen in the area.
And these events, they're all under the umbrella of FIRST Robotics. FIRST stands for
Inspiration and Recognition of Science and Technology, which is a global nonprofit K through 12 organization. Within the state of Michigan, there is FIRST in Michigan, which is the nonprofit that coordinates all of the events that take place in the state of Michigan.
Okay, and so what's the status? What's the state of play right now for FIRST Robotics in Michigan as it goes right here, right now, with all the teams building, competing? What's happening?
This is the week. This is week 1 of competition. So there are a couple of area teams that are going. The closest local event this weekend is Battle Creek Lakeview High School.
Okay.
So there are some teams. Each high school team will compete in 2 events in the competition season leading up to state championship. hoping to qualify for state championship. And this is one of the events that some teams are choosing to go to. And then 2 weeks from now, Berrien Springs will be hosting the most local one that we're going to have.
Okay, 2 weeks from now, Berrien Springs, they're going to transform. Which building are they using?
They're using the gymnasium.
Okay, so they're going to transform the gymnasium into a robotics competition arena. And if you've seen it, you know. If you've not seen it, explain what happens inside that arena.
You have a competition that's happening on the basketball court. You have alliances of robots, 3 robots per alliance. The selection, at least during the qualification rounds, is random selection. There are 40 teams that are going to be there. So team 1, 2, 3 could be with team 5, 6, 7 in a match. And then 2 matches later, they're competing on opposite alliances against each other. And there's a lot of strategy that's involved with that, working with others, other individuals. The whole time all the competition itself is happening is you have 40 pits. Each of the teams has a pit. And they can be doing something as simple as, let's just change a little bit of code to robot comes back from a match and we've lost, a gearbox. How do we replace that within 4 matches? Because we're next to come up here soon. So there's a lot happening. Yeah.
And these robots, I mean, they're the size of maybe a healthy lawnmower, half a lawn tractor. They're big.
This year, if I'm not mistaken, because it fluctuates, but I think this year the weight is, somebody will correct me on it, it's 120 pounds this year. It sits in a certain size envelope at the start of the game.
Right.
And then after that, it can go outside that envelope as far as the size and if it raises up to accomplish tasks and such. But they're beefy. They're definitely beefy.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to get hit by one.
No, I don't think I want to get hit by anything. But I definitely don't one of these.
It would leave a mark.
Exactly.
Big mark. So they can be up to 120 pounds.
Oh yeah. And so you just like anything else, it's like you want to utilize, think NASCAR. It's like you want to be right at the razor's edge of what I can be. So I'm sure there's somebody going like 119.999. We're good.
Use every ounce you can. Okay, we're going to talk about the competition this year because every year the FIRST Robotics folks, they put out this year's game, and this year's game is called Rebuilt. Where the competing alliances are invited to score fuel, cross obstacles, climb towers before time runs out. They get additional rewards for meeting specific scoring thresholds. There's even a human component for scoring.
Yes.
This year. Is that new? Is that controversial?
It's not controversial.
It is, in my opinion.
There is so part of the this game is it's under the total theme of age. That was the theme for all of the age levels. There was Unearth was the Lego League version.
Okay.
So think of archaeology and discovery of things over time.
Okay.
Decode was the first Tech Challenge middle school.
Okay.
And so Rebuilt is actually instead of the archaeology piece where it's like something that's happening in a country or something, Rebuilt is pieces of past games. So each of these are different elements from past games. And when you look at it all together, and if I know you've seen the teaser video. The next time you take a look at it, you'll look along like hockey. I'm a hockey guy. So along the dashboards, you'll see all of the past games. And those past games, there are elements of of that in this current game. The human element was one. This one, they're throwing fuel into a thing, but we've seen all kinds of things that get tossed at certain times.
All right, we're going to explore that here in just a moment with Tim Dunaj, FIRST Robotics. It's part of Robotics Roundup here on WSJM. It's brought to you in part by Corewell Health of Southwest Michigan, WR Grace, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. It's 7:18 Sports with Dave Wolf. All right, here on the video live stream, we continue talking with Tim Dunaj. Yeah, I love that video, and the video explainer of this year's game tells you just how involved and how challenged the students are. Because how many phases? There are like 3 or 4 phases. Make sure you're centered on microphone, please.
6 phases.
Six phases.
That's the piece that's different in past years. It has been, you have the autonomous period. That's the first 15 seconds of the match. And, the robot's not being touched by, anybody. It's just, we've programmed it and this is the path it goes down. And then from that point on, is the teleop mode where somebody's driving the robot.
Yeah, you got the game controller and you're
Correct.
doing stuff.
And you'll get through that. But that whole time period, it was just like, here's the time, go do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But within this year's game is a period of time where each of the alliances in the autonomous period, they can both score. And then in the next phase, only one of the two teams or two alliances can score. They can gather fuel, but they can't put fuel in to be collected until their time frame. And so it's think of, this is the piece I think where you've got a part of the age or the theme. I just see it as a sundial, and at different points in time, you've got the point where you can or cannot score, which is just, when I watched the video at the kickoff event, that one kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, that is just crazy. Again, to your point, thinking, how are the students going to take this into account for what they build? And then also in the moment where you're in the middle, like right now, I'm talking to you and I'm excited about talking.
Right.
So the thoughts I had, they're gone. Now, what about the people who are in the midst of the game and the adrenaline is going? You're like, okay, I want to score. I got to stop scoring right now. Because so.
And the fuel that you're talking about, by the way, I mean, it looks like bombardment balls. If you've ever played bombardment.
I'm not. Okay, so bombardment.
It's the same as
dodgeball?
Yeah, same thing. Same thing.
I've never heard that term. Yeah, actually, this past weekend, they did the Robotarians hosted a practice event.
Yeah.
So it's the first time I got to see one of and hold one of those things. And it's just different in the weight of it.
Is it solid?
It is solid. It is.
I mean,
solid.
does it squish? Is it spongy at all?
No, it doesn't. But it's got some pliability to it. But what it reminded me of is like in roller hockey, you use a ball for playing outdoors.
Yeah.
And the thing is with those, that ball feels different at 30 degrees versus 60 degrees, and I've gotten hit by both.
Yeah.
But that's what it felt like. It was something that was a little bit more solid. So that it doesn't get chewed up, I'm assuming, because you get repetitive use and these things getting picked up by a machine. But it will be different because even the material makeup of that component, that affects the engineering of what am I going to use to pick this thing up and throw this thing. Is it going to be able to hold up to something? Because in past years, they've had things that are a little bit more like a Nerf. Ball, and those things get chewed up. So that has to come into play.
Yeah. And so 6 phases of different things that have to happen at different times. And honestly, it's up to the students with basically, I don't know, how much counseling can you give as a mentor or a coach?
I mean, so the beauty of, especially at the FRC level, it is you're getting students the opportunity to work alongside of people who are in the field of building, building equipment. So you've got builders, you've got electricians, you have, engineers. So that whole design process. So they're a part of that process.
Yeah.
Some teams will lean towards, we're totally student driven and the students are going to do everything. And then you have others where it's okay, well, we're going to give guidance and we've put some bumpers on. It's like, yep, you're going down a good path, but maybe we should focus here kind of thing.
Gotcha.
But it definitely is, that's the thing. It's not Pinewood Derby, because a lot of people will come to an event and they're like, well, the engineer or the mentors are doing this, this, and this. And, good teams are the ones where the mentors give direction and give a path for the students to accomplish goals.
All right, we'll be right back with Tim Dunaj. This is the WSJM Morning Show.
3. And then for Friday, a couple of rounds of thunderstorms in the morning and in the afternoon. High temperatures in between will be in the mid and upper 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
Thank you for joining us. It's the WSJM Morning Show. I'm Ken Lundberg. 7:23 is the time. It's Thursday, March 5th. Our special guest in studio this hour is Tim Dunaj. We're talking about FIRST Robotics, and we were talking a little bit about the game that is robotics. The season is about to get underway this weekend.
Yes.
Up in Battle Creek, you said?
Yeah, Battle Creek Lake. There are 3 events. I just looked at the calendar this morning. There are 3 events that take place throughout the state, and one of those is in Battle Creek. Okay,
and so what we're talking about are the high school kids,
yes,
the teams who get involved with this. What teams were you on?
I would have never been.
You've never been on a team.
No,
You've just been a volunteer and a mentor and a coach.
My introduction to
or judge, sorry,
was as a judge.
Yeah.
And I was totally blown away by the first event that I ever went to, and I wanted to find a way to become involved with it.
Yeah.
And now I'm really involved with it.
Yeah. So what's the role of a judge for those who might want to understand?
I have two roles. I serve as a judge advisor. The Berrien Springs event is a unique one.
Coming up in 2 weeks, by the way.
Yeah, coming up in 2 weeks. So I have been the judge advisor for the St. Joe event. So at that event, I coordinate getting the judges into the room, talking to the judges, getting them trained on what they need to know. And then I give them a task and send them off to do the task.
Yeah.
Judges go out, they do interviews with the team. They're looking for specific information for specific awards. So they'll interview those teams. They'll come back into the room and we'll have discussions about who they've seen, who they'd like to consider to be nominated for an award.
For instance, what kind of questions are they asking? What are they looking for? What are they potentially up for as far as an award?
Could be, tell us about the most unique feature on your robot.
Okay.
That question is going to yield you a bunch of answers. And it's a good icebreaker. You want the kids to be at their best and to be comfortable.
Yeah.
For me, probably one of the most enjoyable things is when I get a rookie judge that's going to go out and talk to a team, and they're like, I'm so frightened. I have no idea. And it's you see it flip on the edge, and these kids, they can sense fear.
They can, yes.
But it's interesting to see that. So you'll get questions that'll get asked. They'll come back in the room. But so the judges will work towards who gets the awards. My job as a judge advisor is we have a task to get done. Let's get it done. I don't make any decisions as a judge advisor.
Okay.
So this weekend, or I should say in a couple weeks here, leading up to Berrien Springs, because I'm retired, I'm doing the preparation for the event. When we get to the weekend of the event, Jason Cleveland, who's a gentleman I've worked with, this is his 15th year of doing competitions. We kind of serve as each other's backup in case of events or so. So come the Berrien Springs event, I'll take off the judge advisor hat. He'll run the event, and then I'll be a judge.
Oh, cool.
Which is cool because I get to go out and do kind of what got me into this in the beginning.
Yeah. I love that. We're talking with Tim Dunaj. We're talking about FIRST Robotics. And again, in a couple of weeks, Berrien Springs, they'll transform their gymnasium into a robotics arena. And these 120-pound robots, up to 120-pound robots, will be competing. And teams will be coming from all across the state.
All throughout the state. I haven't looked at the roster. In past years, we've had teams, from the UP.
Yeah.
But you'll have a good mix of teams that'll come throughout. The teams will pick kind of their favorite spot based upon how they've done there. They
can pick their venue where to compete.
And you'd have to ask some of the teams in that, but there's a process about what is your home event, where are places you would like to go.
Yeah.
There's still some scheduling that has to be done to coordinate all that, but you'll see teams that'll pop up year after year that by choice that will come here. There's a team that at the St. Joe event, and I don't know if they'll make it down to Berrien Springs, but there's a team out of Greenville, is it Greenville? Just north of Grand Rapids.
Okay.
They won the Rookie of the Year. It was the Rookie All-Star Award at the St. Joe event, which qualified them for state competition.
Yeah.
That team was a very small team. That award helped them immensely with recruiting, with interest within their local community.
Yeah.
And because that team won Rookie All-Star at the St. Joe event, they chose every year to come back to St. Joe.
Nice.
They consider that because that had such an impact. Everything that happened at that event had such an impact on the growth of their team. They considered this to be their event.
That is really cool. And that community support is important because these robots are not cheap.
Correct.
How much does it cost a team to field a team every year?
I wouldn't even begin to. I've seen budgets. I mean, you have shoestring budgets.
Yeah.
And it's Rube Goldberg, and you get by with whatever you can. Especially when I go to world competition, I get to talk to a lot of teams and kind of how they gotten to where they are and what it is. The ones I love are the ones that are come from rural communities where it is, they've learned how to put things together to make a farm run based upon, we don't have the newest thing. We have the thing that works.
Right.
And then you have the other end of that where it's like unlimited resources, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, up in the Grand Rapids area, they've got like Stryker and stuff like
Kalamazoo.
Kalamazoo area. They've got Stryker. And so you've got them saying, hey, yeah, we can advise you on this. Oh, we've got this new material.
Oh yeah,
that we can potentially help you
see
out.
all variations of it. The really good thing that I enjoy a part of the competition is when you get into the pits.
Yeah.
You see a meshing of that. People who are more than willing, teams that are more than willing to loan a component, or you let somebody use a component, or teach them about a new component that they can use. So,
but it's thousands of dollars to put together and field a team.
Yes, it is. I wouldn't even begin to know what the average is.
Yeah.
And I'll look that up maybe sometime to kind of at least have an idea.
Yeah.
But the thing is you will have teams that that are below the average of what you're going to spend, but they still end up doing well at a competition because they walk in with it's the KISS method. It's like we have all these things that we could potentially do, but if we keep it simple, we're going to be able to do this thing repetitively, and someone is going to pick an alliance and say, we want you because you do this really well. We don't need you to do anything else. We got those things covered. You go do this really well.
Yeah, there are a lot of great companies. There are a lot of great companies that help out with the robotics teams locally and regionally that we're aware of. One that comes to mind immediately, we had them in the studio last year, Edgewater Automation.
Edgewater Automation, the folks at Edgewater Automation live it, breathe it, walk it, talk it. They embrace it. Yeah. And that is from the standpoint of, I know many of the employees of Edgewater are actively involved as mentors on teams.
Yeah.
They also are, they're cultivating the future for their operations.
Yeah.
And so the thing that I really enjoy, as we talked a little bit earlier about, I've done this 16 years. There are kids who aren't kids anymore who, as I was exiting my career, my professional career, they were now working at an Edgewater Automation, at now Convergix, that was Eagle, at a JR Automation, at some of the smaller companies too. They went from being, hey, Mr. Dunaj, to, hey, Tim, I need help with this thing, which is, that's why did I ever get involved in a program like this? And why did I encourage our company, Kendall Electric, to be involved? Because of that.
Yeah,
it felt good to do it, but there's a business reason to do it also.
Yeah. And, the opportunity, you open the eyes for the young people who may want to stay in this area, may want to look for a career that supports a certain lifestyle and do something that's personally satisfying.
Right.
And for someone to spend their life making robots to do things, that's cool.
Yeah, and you touched upon one thing right there too. It's the connection to the local community, because from both points, a lot of these businesses that we mentioned and other ones, they will go to they'll go to Ann Arbor, and they'll go to up to Lake State to sit in a in the recruiting weekend where they're talking about their program and how would they love you to travel to come work for them. Yeah. Meanwhile, you have this employee base that's here that you aren't aware of, and flip that around also. Students that are going to graduate and they think, I have to leave the area because I can't find that opportunity here. And it's like, have you been in that building that's right down the road? And do you know that the place you want to go work at, these guys are building the machine that's going into that building? Yeah,
it's so cool. All right, we're going to continue this conversation with Tim Dunaj. We're talking about FIRST Robotics. This is part of our robotics roundup commitment here on WSJM. It's brought to you in part by Corewell Health of Southwest Michigan, W.R. Grace, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. We'll continue the conversation now on the video live stream here on the radio. A couple of important messages, and then our financial report from Bloomberg Plus News. It's coming up.
Would you call free?
All right, here on the video live stream. You're not passionate about this at all, are you?
No.
That's why I love having Tim on, because no other person that I know is so excited and so involved in robotics.
No,
how fun! Do you build robots? Have you ever?
I have not.
In your spare time, as like a hobby or something?
No, let's put it this way. I think out, and I keep telling myself, I want to go do this. I want to do this, and I just, I can't stay focused long enough. And that's why I really appreciate what it takes to do what these teams and students do.
Yeah.
It's like to conceptualize, come up with a concept. We're going to build it. We're going to test it. It's going to fail. We're going to tweak it. We're going to build it. Hey, it works how we wanted it to. And quite honestly, Ken, if I sit down right now to read a book, I get about 10 minutes into it and I'm thinking about something else that I want to do. So it's that laser focus that it takes to do that.
Yeah.
But have I thought about different ways to go about doing things? Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the exciting part. Now you're a runner.
Yes, I've gotten into running since I've retired.
Yeah.
And that's my thing, actually. I enjoy doing robotics 100%, but the running piece has become a personal challenge for me to set a goal, accomplish the goal. No different than these teams. Either meet the goal and feel great, or not meet the goal and dejected for a bit. And then literally it's like, I need to beat this time that I had. And the challenge is all me against myself. It's my race, my pace. But it's just pushing myself. I think I told you last year, I'm just chasing a younger version of Tim. Don't know if I'll ever catch him, but a healthy thing is to continue to try and chase that guy.
Now, your recent competitions, you recently were down in Key West.
Yep. By choice. My wife, who's a snow person, like if she's listening right now, she absolutely loves the winter, loves the snow.
Yeah.
And I can tolerate the snow.
This was a year for it.
Yeah. Trust me. I found out. So we left literally January 10th was the kickoff event. I had planned for what our road trip was going to be. So we had one vehicle packed. Got done at 1 o'clock at LMC, and by 3 o'clock we were in the vehicle because we drive down to wherever the destination is. We ended up being in Key West this year, and we were meeting up with some of our kids there. So we took 5 days to just take our time driving down. But we were into Georgia, maybe Florida. And we're getting news updates on, weather. There's a meteorologist that my wife follows, and he's talking about how much snow we're getting in Benton Harbor. And she's showing me the picture. She's like, in our vehicle, she's like, I can't believe this. I'm missing this. And the other half of the vehicle was like, we are so happy. So I went down to Key West. This was a race that a challenge that I picked up on last 2025. I did the Disney Dopey Challenge, which was 4 races. And at that point in time, like I wasn't even done with that race. And I had already picked Key West to do their challenge, which was on Saturday morning, was a 5K at 7 o'clock, followed by a 10K at 8 o'clock that morning. And then the next day was a half marathon.
That's incredible.
All running along, like I told you, I was running through the areas that Jimmy Buffett used to hang out, down Duval Street, down A1A, along the Atlantic Ocean. I saw a seaplane flying over the ocean. It's like, okay, I've chosen the right hobby if this is where I'm hanging out at. So
that sounds like so much fun.
It was.
Were you singing to yourself the whole time, Margaritaville, as you're running?
So there, as a Buffett fan, there's an album he did, A1A. Yeah. And because that was the album that kind of brought me there. And actually, unfortunately, I had a great friend who introduced me to the world of Buffett. He passed just before Christmas.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, and he was a guy that I worked with at Kendall and we were always in touch with each other, but it was like, hey, just reach out and say, hi, how's it going? He's a guy I definitely would have reached out and said, hey, this is some pictures of stuff.
Yeah.
So he was on my mind, but it was in a good way. It was like, he was right there running with me. And the whole time I listened for 3 hours, just over 3 hours. I just listened to the album A1A on repeat.
Oh, man.
And I'm running past the places where the songs were written. It was awesome.
That would be. All right. Back in a moment with Tim Dunaj. It's the WSJM Morning Show.
Grocery store, Albertsons. Courtney Donahoe, Bloomberg Radio.
The Morning Show with Ken Lundberg on WSJM.
If you're missing any part of the video live stream that we're having, it'll be archived on YouTube, on Facebook, on our WSJM app as soon as it's done here. We're talking with Tim Dunaj about FIRST Robotics. Again, it's part of our robotics roundup commitment here on WSJM, brought to you in part by Corewell Health of Southwest Michigan, WR Grace, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. Temperature outside right now in Benton Harbor, we've got 42 degrees, 41 in St. Joseph, 41 in South Haven. In New Buffalo, it's 42 degrees. Dowagiac reports 42 degrees, and we're heading toward a high somewhere in the upper 40s, maybe the lower 50s. That's going to be beautiful today. It's going to be beautiful with an 80% chance of rain and thunderstorms. Well, because some people like that too.
It's Michigan beautiful.
It is Michigan beautiful. Tonight's forecast, mostly cloudy skies, a 20% chance of showers, a low around 43 degrees. Friday, tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a 50% chance of showers and storms, a high around 67 degrees. 67 degrees. By the way, the clocks get screwed up this weekend.
Oh, that's right. That's this weekend.
Yeah, that is this weekend. We lose an hour of sleep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I know. Ba, 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 ba.
There goes my beauty. I'll be less beautiful.
Only an hour less
Only an
beautiful.
hour.
I thought Congress was going to fix this. I know.
You,
Stupider words have never been uttered. I thought Congress was going to fix this. No. So anyway, so this weekend you're going to be advancing the clocks an hour ahead. Technically, I think you do it around 2 or 3 a.m. on.
I usually set the alarm to get up at 2 a.m. to set that ahead. So no.
Yeah, exactly. Well, with smartphones, I mean, most times the only thing left flashing is like the microwave or the VCR if you still have one of those things. But anyway, so that's this weekend. We lose an hour of sleep. 7:39 WSJM Morning Show. We've got news coming up next.
News is next. Brought to you by Creative Landscaping and Design. Creating landscapes for life for over 50 years. Family owned in Southwest Michigan.
This is a special report from ABC News. I'm Sherry Preston. The death toll in Iran climbing again as the U.S. and Israel keep up their attacks. Iranian officials now say over 1,200 people have been killed since the attacks began over the weekend. Israel announcing a new wave of strikes on Tehran. In Washington, a vote today in the House on a measure that would force President Trump to get congressional approval for any more military action in Iran. This comes after a similar vote in the Senate.
The Trump administration saying this is just the beginning of the war. And now a victory for the White House.
The motion to discharge is not approved.
Republicans in Congress defeating an effort by Democrats to rein in President Trump's war powers. The measure would have prevented further military action without congressional approval. But Senate Republicans pointing out past presidents from Bush to Obama also conducted military operations without congressional approval.
ABC's Nicole D'Antonio. Oil prices up another 2.5%. This is ABC News.
WSJM News Now. Team coverage from the WSJM Newsroom on News Talk Sports 94.9 WSJM.
7:41 coming up just after 8 o'clock. Some of the news from the WSJM Newsroom. St. Joseph Township is exploring a plan to improve pedestrian safety. That's on their long-term plan, so they're taking some action along M63 between Hilltop Road and the area of Lincoln Avenue. They're pursuing a new non-motorized walkway, so we'll tell you more about that. That's coming up just after 8 o'clock. Also in the news, the Southwest Michigan Regional Airport is seeking renewal of its millage this year. That's coming up in August. We'll talk with Airport Director Christopher Beckman. And then also in the news, a proposal from Congressman Tim Walberg, area Congressman Tim Walberg, aimed at increasing access to national parks for motorcyclists. If you don't have one of those national park things that gets you in a park pass, you have to get one. If you're a motorcyclist, in the past, you've been able to just, you and a buddy, get right into the national park with one pass. Well, apparently that rule changed under the prior administration. Congressman Tim Walberg wants to change that, and he wants to put that into law that one motorcycle, one pass, 2 motorcycles can get in. Yeah. So anyway, we'll talk about those stories and more. It's coming up just after 8 o'clock. Right here on the WSJM Morning Show. We're going to continue our conversation about robotics with Tim Dunaj here on the video live stream. Here on the radio, we've got sports coming up in just a moment from Dave Wolf after a look at state news.
The Michigan.
Okay, back on the video live stream. Let's talk about local competitions. And so and local tournaments. In the past, we've had a tournament in St. Joseph and in Berrien Springs.
Correct.
Which has been great.
Yeah, the St. Joseph event, that one started out in Niles. The first 2 years that I was involved were in Niles, 2011, 2012. 2013, it moved up here to St. Joe High School. And up until last year, that was where we ran an event. And this year, there are 27 events that happen throughout the state, plus the state championship.
Okay.
And a matter of scheduling, when the high school was available did not align with when First in Michigan needed events. So that bumped it off into it. They're not doing it this year. Luckily for area teams, 2 years ago, Berrien Springs took on hosting event because they needed events in this area or on the west side of the state.
Yeah.
So Berrien Springs is still hosting an event. 3 weeks from now, we'll have that. And we're looking for volunteers for that, anything from judging to just all types of other things that it takes to run a large event. Probably about 100 people that are doing everything that you can imagine under the sun to run the event. But the hope will be that, in next year or the year after, or whatever it might be, however the schedules align, that we'll be able to bring that event back here to St. Joe.
Was it that the two events were too close geographically together?
No.
Okay.
So last year's event, Bering Springs and St. Joe the distance to Bering Springs and St. Joe is physically the distance. It'll never change.
Yeah.
And the St. Joe event was a week 2 event, and Bering Springs was a week 3 event. So the events were physically close to each other, and as far as they could be in the calendar, close to each other.
No, I understand that. But if you're at FIRST Robotics of Michigan, are you saying, do we really need 2 events in that location?
Well, so really it breaks down to east side, west side of the state. Do I need to have 2 events that are running the same time or close enough to each other? And is there a need for more teams on the east side or the northern portion of the state, whatever it might be? That's way above Tim's pay grade to know that one.
But we have a lot of participation around here. We have a ton of teams.
Definitely. And there's a lot of, just from parents that were involved who become volunteers that are still just involved. Quite honestly, when I found out, I was a part of the planning committee for the middle school event that happened in November. And as a part of that discussion, there's a couple of area teams that compete in FRC that said, hey, did you know there's no St. Joe event? That's how I found out.
Yeah.
And I've been a part of that event since it started.
Wow.
The St. Joe event. So, you have a lot of people who had that same mindset, like, now what am I going to do?
Yeah.
And that's why we're making sure to let people know, hey, this is just a break. If you want to help with an event, still come down to Bering Springs, help with that, and keep your eyes and ears open, because there's a good chance that it will be brought back into the area, and we'll need that volunteer base.
Local teams, were they competing in both events, the St. Joe and Bering Springs?
Yeah, I can tell you, there's a couple of teams that, the team Lancebot, they did literally, I want to say
that's Lakeshore, by the way.
Yes. The first year that Bering Springs ran, it was a week 1 event. The St. Joe event was a week 2 event. They attended both of those. Their travel budget was gas to get to the locations.
Yeah.
There was no hotel stay or anything. So when you talk about the cost,
right?
Well, whatever my cost now is that I have for travel, if I can pull from that budget to add or enhance things in the robot or do special programs for the students, that really helps a great deal.
And that's what I'm wondering about is if you used to have teams that were able to get 2 events in, because they have to get a certain number of events
they have to have 2 events
to qualify.
Yes.
And so if you had that not built into your travel budget, now you're going to have to travel.
Correct.
And that's expensive.
Yes.
Because the robots, they fly first class. No,
Yes,
they get driven.
They get driven yes. They're probably more care given. I don't want to say that. I was going to say there's more care given to the robots
than the
but
kids.
I'm sure all the teams care about the students too.
Absolutely. We're talking with Tim Dunaj about FIRST Robotics, and so you compete locally, you compete at the state level, you have state, and then you go national. World. You skip national, you just go world, and the world competition, they're held down in what, Austin?
That one's in Houston, and I think they're signed through till it was till 2027, but I think I saw something. They signed it through mid 2033, 34, something like that.
Probably because Elon Musk is down there.
The George R. Brown Convention Center is a great facility for hosting the event, and the city does a good job of running the event. And you get to a place, it's very similar to the St. Joe event. It's like you've done it for long enough time that it just becomes clockwork, and everybody knows how things work. So you don't have to go to a new venue and go, how do we make this thing happen in here? So I think there's probably some of the reasons why there's comfort in having done, that at the George R. Brown in Houston. So I'm sure that had a little bit to do with why it makes sense for them to keep that competition there.
Yeah. Okay. We're, as I mentioned, we're talking with Tim Dunaj, FIRST Robotics, and the Robotics Roundup on WSJM is brought to you by Corewell Health of Southwest Michigan, WR Grace, and Bering Springs Public Schools, demonstrating their commitment to invest in STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics by supporting FIRST Robotics. And so we will continue this conversation. We'll make it part of our Moody on the Market update. That's coming up next, right here on WSJM at 7:48.
Cloudy, rainy, and foggy today. An occasional thunderstorm possible. Afternoon highs right around 50 degrees. Tonight will be mostly cloudy. A slight chance of a shower overnight with a low of 43. And then for Friday, a couple of rounds of thunderstorms in the morning and in the afternoon. High temperatures in between will be in the mid and upper 60s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Carrie Peugeot.
The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
Hey, good morning, Teresa, on the video live stream. We haven't seen you in a while. It's good to see you. Good to see you, Diane, and others who are on the video live stream joining us today. We're talking with Tim Dunaj, FIRST Robotics, about all the things happening with FIRST Robotics. The season is underway. The high school teams have got their game plan. They've got their robots. They're building. Are they? At this point, do you think they're done with their robots? Have they been testing them like mad?
I'm sure there are teams that are all done and ready to go, and then you have others that, you know what, until it's the last minute we really need it, we're still doing engineering. So there's always
this balsa wood might not work.
I've actually seen wood. Seen wood
Really?
on robots quite a bit of times.
Oh, okay.
Again, it's that mentality. Rube Goldberg, whatever makes it happen happens. But yeah, there's teams ready to go, but they're already thinking about their next iteration of what they want to do. They're going to go test it. They've worked on this thing right now.
Yeah,
we're going to go run it through a weekend's worth of competition, and we're going to see if everything we've thought works out.
That is so cool. Let's make this part of our Moody on the Market update, which is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. We're talking with Tim Dunaj. We're talking about FIRST Robotics. Competitions in the area. We've got Berrien Springs coming up in 2 weeks. What happens at Berrien Springs again? Remind folks.
So Friday evening, teams roll in, and they will start practices. They'll
from all over the state. They're coming in to
40
compete.
Teams from all over the state.
Okay.
And then Saturday morning, we will start competition. There will be opening ceremonies. Opening ceremonies, off the top of my head, start 9 o'clock.
Okay.
9 o'clock. 10:30 on the first day. They start 10:30.
Okay.
But then after an opening ceremony that's about a half hour long, competitions start. We're already into the judging process by that point in time, but opening ceremonies and everything is open to the public, free of charge.
Yeah.
Come on in, take a look. Bring students of all ages to let them take a look and see what's going on, and go walk around in the pits. Ask questions, talk to the teams. It'll be worth whatever it took you in gas to get there, to have a conversation with the student who's as enthused as I am, and probably more so.
And you're still looking for volunteers.
Yeah,
So
always looking for volunteers from a judging standpoint. If some of what we've talked about interests you, reach out. You can reach out to the radio station, or you can go to firstinmichigan.org, and you can select FIRST Robotics competition because it's the high school age, and there's a link for volunteering. You can volunteer for a specific event if you want to. But from a judging standpoint, but then also it's like if I don't have a whole weekend, but I want to come help with, queuing, getting robots in line or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
There are all kinds of volunteer opportunities. An event like this takes a lot of people to bring it together. And the thing is I've seen it when you get done with a competition like this, the community event that you're a part of, people want to be a part of a good feeling. There's enough other negativity in the world.
Yeah.
I love being at a competition because I don't think about anything else for that weekend. And
it's a really positive environment. I mean, the
is.
competitions that I've been at St. Joe High School, when they have had it there, there's camaraderie, not only within teams, but across teams, because they have this very strong thing about alliances.
Yes.
Your allies.
Cooperation.
Cooperation.
Yep. Cooperation and just gracious professionalism.
Yeah.
Just those two words right there. And when you put them together, how you'd want to treat other people. And, the goal is to walk out of that room, that building, trying to carry that mentality through your daily life.
Yeah, I love that.
Until your next event.
Yeah, exactly. All right. We're talking about robotics, FIRST Robotics. The competitions get underway in earnest this weekend. They start up in Battle Creek for many teams. And then 2 weeks from today, or from this weekend, from tomorrow, Friday. Tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow's Friday.
Tomorrow's
Thank goodness.
Friday.
TGIF, they'll be happening in Berrien Springs. So again, if you want to volunteer, the information is FIRST Robotics in Michigan.
So firstinmichigan.org.
Firstinmichigan.org.
Then it breaks down each of the age levels. So you want to select FIRST Robotics competition. It's the one in blue. When you go in there, you can click on events. And the reason I'm bringing that up is clicking on events, you can watch there's Twitch feeds of each of the competitions that are happening. So you can see what an event's like. Also, when you go into that one, instead of clicking on events, you can click on volunteer, and you can work your way through how to volunteer for an event.
That is super cool. All right. Moody on the Market update is brought to you by Insurance Management Service. Call IMS today. They are your local auto owners insurance agency in St. Joseph and in Niles. We'll be back with Tim here on the radio here in just a moment. We'll continue the conversation on our video live stream. This is WSJM.
Rich Brand and Tara Collins.
Whew. That's good stuff. I love talking about robots. What's the biggest challenge for the teams?
Yow. It's my interpretation because I've not been a part of a team.
You've been part of a team because you're there. You're part of the whole thing. You've seen. I mean,
yes.
Vicariously, you've lived through the teams.
Yes, I see what I think probably the biggest. If I look out from the outside looking in, I think the thing that trips up most teams is they want to be everything to everybody.
What do you mean?
You want to? So we're going to give out 16 awards.
Okay.
So
and 16 different judging categories.
Yes.
Okay.
Some of those they have to, like, there's the First Impact Award, which South Haven, the Team Remageddon, they won at the Berrien Springs event last year. St. Joe, the Average Joes, they won at their event the First Impact Award. It's the highest award you can win. They also won that at state and went and represented the state of Michigan for that particular award at World. So you apply for that one. But a lot of the other awards are the interviews that we have with the teams. They'll end up getting an award. Well, if you specialize and you say, you know what, so we really emphasize community outreach, and this is what we would really like to be known as. I can start to hone my skills towards what we really want to be known as and what we might win an award at. But if I walk in going, I want to swing for the fences on every one of these awards, and I'm a little scattered in how I talk about what those awards are, teams get caught up on themselves as far as and they add angst for themselves. That's the part I don't like to see. It's like there is no right or wrong answer when you're talking to a judge.
Yeah.
Judges want to know the things that didn't work and then how you got over that process.
Yeah.
But the negativity of I've just told you something that didn't work, that's the part where it's probably, for me, it's like one of the most difficult things to see.
Yeah.
But the thing that I really love to see is when a student will say, we failed at this, but this is what we did. And because of this, we knew this wasn't the thing to do. So we did this.
Yeah.
And for me, that 30-second conversation, that's why I'm forever hooked in this, because I watch the confidence in the student who went from I failed to I failed at this, but this is how I resolved it, how we resolved it.
Yeah, and that's part of the learning journey that they get as part of STEM and the soft skills. So we'll come back and conclude on that note in just a moment. It's 7:56 WSJM Morning Show. We're talking with Tim Dunaj about FIRST Robotics again. Robotics Roundup on WSJM, brought to you by Corewell Health of Southwest Michigan, W.R. Grace, and Berrien Springs Public Schools. Back in just a moment.
And they service it twice a year. And you don't even know it's running. This is so clean and nice and quiet. And the price was an excellent price. So yes, I do. I recommend Scott McGee. Yeah, good people.
Feel at ease with McGee's.
Your local Bryan Factory authorized dealer.
From the Pat Moody Studios, this is WSJM FM Benton Harbor, St. Joseph, a product of Midwest Family Marketing and Media. Proudly serving our community. The Morning Show with Ken and Friends on 94.9 WSJM.
See, they didn't have that cool hoodie when I did it.
I think this hoodie, I'm going to go with this, or next time I go back, they'll probably have the ones that were on the rack when
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'm either a medium or a large, so.
Oh, okay.
Keep that.
Well, you're doing a great job there.
Thank you.
I'm sure you're down to a medium.
I could be in some cases. 7:57. It's the WSJM Morning Show. Good morning. We're concluding our interview with Tim Dunaj. We're talking about FIRST Robotics this hour. It's been a great conversation. I know we put a lot of information out there, but if people want to know more about FIRST Robotics generally, where do you send them?
So there's two places to go, and I'll say them real slowly. First is it's a global program. So firstinspires.org. That will get you a link to the global program. And then more regionalized for us is firstinmichigan.org. And that will show you links to all of the events that happen K through 12. The very first thing you'll find when you get to that page is there's 5 different categories that it tells you: FIRST Robotics Competition, FIRST Tech, FIRST Lego League, FIRST Lego League Explorer Challenge. That tells you the age of the students who are participating. But all the information you need is right there to find out where events are, how you can be involved volunteering. If you're interested, but you don't want to volunteer, you can't volunteer, but you'd really like to reach out to a team to support a team. Teams need that help.
Yeah.
Financial support goes a long way. If you just think I'd like to probably take a look at what it's like to be a mentor, and then never step away, because there is no exit strategy for being involved with FIRST Robotics.
Because it's so fun.
It is,
and rewarding and enriching.
Yes.
I can't hesitate to say, or I shouldn't hesitate to say, this is also about teaching leadership skills for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
In 30 seconds or less, what do they learn that's outside STEM?
How you got me in this. I came a part of an organization that was a sales organization, and I don't care who you are, what you're doing, whatever it is, at some point in time, you will sell something to somebody. You'll sell an idea, a concept, a better way to do something. They learn to interact with people and sell their ideas. And in the process of doing that, they gain confidence. And if you have confidence, you can do anything.
Yeah, and that's one of the wonderful things that FIRST Robotics brings is that set of soft skills. And you bring critical thinking to the science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics, but you also have the opportunity to become a leader if you're not already. And you get off the video games, you get outside, you go socialize with real people.
Adults and students
in a great and safe way, and you get to compete and potentially go to Houston to enjoy the world competition. Tim Dunaj, thank you for what you do with FIRST Robotics.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
And thank
you, WSJM, for just continuing to publicize what the kids are doing.
Absolutely.
If I can be a voice to help publicize what these kids are doing, that's all we need to do.
We appreciate you. We appreciate FIRST Robotics, and it is 8 o'clock. Good morning.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. The Pentagon